Okay, so I guess I'm gonna be the first one without an awesome intro. Darn it! So this week we're talking about books that changed our lives. I'm not too much of a sentimental person, so I don't have too many books to share. Also, these are books that have changed my reading habits more than actually changed my life. But whatever. Here we go! Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, obviously. My dad bought this for me when I was 5 or 6, and we read it together. I was already a big reader, but this was like the first really big book that I read, and it inspired me to start reading more difficult books, and also I'm pretty sure it kindled my love for fantasy. The Giver by Lois Lowry. I don't have a copy of this book, unfortunately, but I read it in 5th or 6th grade, and it was the first book that really made me think. It made me question morality and society, and in the 5th grade, that's a big deal. I think my love for The Giver is part of what makes me really love the dystopian trend in YA today. I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zusak. This book, I don't know if you can tell, but it is super beat up. And that is because this is the only book that I've loved enough to reread 4 times. I'm not a big reader at all, but I read this in middle school and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's about this guy who is kind of down on his luck, and he starts receiving playing cards in the mail, and they direct him to people whose lives need changing. And so he ends up helping them out quite a bit. I don't know, I just really love this book, and I guess the way in which it changed my reading habits was it was the first book that I loved enough to reread 4 times. Bitten by Kelly Armstrong. I don't have a copy of this book either because I donated my copy to the library because that used to be a thing that I did. I would read a book and then donate it. Anyway, Bitten was one of the first adult urban fantasy books that I read, and it really got me hooked on the genre. In middle school, I read nothing except for adult urban fantasy and adult high fantasy. I was addicted to adult fiction. So Kelly Armstrong's Women of the Otherworld series just really got me thinking that adult fiction was awesome. Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson. This book is amazing because it takes something so horrifying and turns it into something beautiful. Around the time that I read this, a family member was diagnosed with anorexia, and this book just really helped me understand what they were going through, and this book taught me so much about anorexia and bulimia. I just was really touched by it, and it was the first book to really make me bawl my eyes out. Palimpsest by Catherine M. Valenti. This is the book that really got me into writing. You know, I didn't really think about writing as a craft or something that was beautiful until I read this book. This book is the epitome of gorgeous writing. It got me to think about my own writing and just writing as an art form. And in case you're wondering, this book is about a sexually transmitted city. Yes, it is insane, but it is also very beautiful. And I would highly recommend this book if you read adult fiction. It's awesome. So those are the books that have changed my life, or at least have changed my reading habits. I would also like to hear from you. What are books that have impacted you as a person or your reading habits? Let me know in the comments below. And Harmony, to reply to your thing about Harry Potter, honestly, even though I grew up with Harry Potter and I feel like it's a really powerful thing that has existed and affected a lot of people, I was not as connected to it as I think I should have been. I'm not going to the midnight release, but I do understand what you're trying to say about, you know, how you're gonna feel this sense of loss, and I kind of agree. I went to see Thor today at the Dollar Theater, and they played a trailer for Harry Potter before the movie began, and I really just got tingles watching that trailer. I think it is going to affect me, but I'm just not ready for it yet. I feel like it's interesting that the end of the movies is impacting more people than the end of the books. So that's something to think about. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and Katie, I will see you tomorrow.